Hi, and welcome to my video. I really wanted to talk to you in front of the camera this week, but I've been running a fever for the last 24 hours. So for this one, I am going to have to revert to my old format and become, once again, a person of mystery. Which is really only as mysterious as it sounds. This week's recipe is for urad dal with the skin. So that's called sabut urad dal in Hindi, and these are known as black lentils in English. And here I am in the hospital. Hi, and welcome to my video. And I apologize for the very dramatic start to this video. I do think that is kind of what the last week was, if I'm being honest. I did not release a video on Monday as I normally do, and that's for two very specific reasons. The first reason is that I fell very ill last week. The Monday before that, I woke up with a very strange soreness in my throat, and I felt like I couldn't swallow properly. And you know that feeling where you just know that you're coming down with something. I feel like that's what I had. Tuesday, when I got back from work that day, I had a full-blown fever, and I'm talking like 102.8 is what my fever was. And Pranav begged me to go to the emergency, and I said, no, I think I can just, you know, ride it out. I'll take some Tylenol. I'll be okay. I just need like a day to get back on my feet. By the end of the day on Wednesday, things were so much worse, and by Thursday, there was really no denying it. I had to go into emergency. I had messaged my doctor, and she said, no, you need to come in. It could be a lot more serious, and the best place to treat you is in the hospital. So when your doctor says that, you know, you listen. When your husband says it, you don't listen, but when your doctor says it, you listen. A fever of 102 or 103, very close to 103 in this case, is dangerous for anyone. It's also especially dangerous for people who are immunocompromised or immunosuppressed, which I am, and which is like the topic of an entirely different video that I'm probably not gonna make. But just to let you know, that's the situation. So we went, you know what emergency is like, right? Like you go, you wait for hours, and there's the waiting area, there's the inside waiting area, and then you just wait. You're waiting all the time, and sometimes you're waiting so long that the reason that you came in for isn't even around anymore. This all happened on the day of the provincial election, which turns out is a great day to go to emergency. There was hardly anyone there. All of us got in fairly quickly, which was a nice change. They immediately did a series of tests, including blood cultures, and blood cultures are what tell you if you have infection in your blood. Because infections don't really start in your blood, but they can move to your blood, and that's a little bit more serious. So they did all that. I spent that night in Emerge. Had it been, you know, just me being sick, I could have released my video. I had already filmed it. I had already filmed the voiceover, the instructions, all of that stuff. I was only gonna do like a little introduction and an outro, and that was it. And I probably could have pulled... What is that? And I probably, excuse me, I probably could have pulled that together. But when I woke up on Friday, Pranav had gone home like at some point in the middle of the night, poor guy. He messaged me quite early on Friday with the news of Anthony Bourdain's passing. And honestly, that news was so devastating that combined with being sick, I just was not able to release a video on Monday. I couldn't even wrap my head around this loss, honestly. It was unfathomable to me. It was heartbreaking. We were very upset about it. I think I cried like a little bit about it. And the thing is, obviously, Pranav and I are no one to, we're no one to Anthony Bourdain, but he was very much someone to us. We've been married for 10 years, and we've been watching Anthony Bourdain for 10 years. And we've just really admired him, not only as a person, as a former chef, and now this world traveler and journalist, but we really sort of idolized him and looked up to him, and we modeled so many of our own travel adventures on him, the way he traveled, the way he sought out you know, incredible food and spoke to people about their food. And he, in many ways, shaped the way that we travel. And so, you know, having this sort of figure that you're very used to and having that person just no longer exist it was a total upheaval. I mean, it just also makes you think a lot about, you know, what people struggle with, and nobody knows really the extent of another person's struggle. And I mean, suffering is very common in many ways. It brings us together because we all suffer, but you can't measure that. You can't measure someone's grief or someone's suffering. And yes, we say call the suicide prevention line, but it must be very difficult to reach out for that kind of help, you know, because if it wasn't difficult, then people would do it. For some reason, sometimes they don't, because they are incapable of seeking help. And that's just, it's really sad. Especially sad in this case, I felt. And, you know, just right off the news of Kate Spade. But this news of Anthony Bourdain, to me, was much more devastating and somehow personal. So that is the reason why I just couldn't put out a video on Monday. It seemed silly to me to just put out a recipe for this dal without saying something or acknowledging this loss in some way. And so that's that. The rest of my hospital stay was honestly unremarkable once we figured out that I did in fact have an infection, as well as like some sort of probably viral contagion, because I came in with like nausea, vomiting, chills, rigor, and this fever was really difficult to break. Like, you know, when you have a fever, you feel so cold and you just want to be cozy. But what they ended up doing in Emerge was like they took away all my blankets, and then they started this cooling process where they said they were going to put ice packs on me, and I just, oh my goodness, that first night in emergency was really uncomfortable. And it just seemed torturous to me, this idea of having ice packs placed on me when I was so cold, but my body temperature was so hot, and I couldn't even, I had this vision of being submerged into a bathtub filled with ice cubes, which that's not how they do it. They put cold packs on you, but it was truly an uncomfortable experience. But the rest of the hospital stay, when I eventually moved up to the ward and I started receiving the IV antibiotics and all of that, that once I perked up a little bit, it was really unremarkable. And I did perk up rather quickly, which was fortunate for me. The point is that I'm on the mend, I am recovering, I am now on oral medication, which means that I get to recover now in the comfort of my own home, which is always preferable. Home is always best. So that's just to bring you up to date with some of my hospital stay. I will in fact show you what I did at the hospital. This is my dinner.
Yes, it's a split pea casserole and it's nasty. Disgusting, I don't, you know, it has no taste at all.
I'm planning not to eat it.
How do you fix it?
That cannot be fixed. That cannot be fixed.
Cannot be fixed?
It's not even like a liquidy dal that you know, that you could drink it or something. Yeah. It's really awful and thick. People who are sick and can't swallow, that will choke them.
So it says like 1 portion mini lemon tart, but then there are 2 mini lemon tarts.
The mystery of 2 lemon tarts.
Like, how did this second lemon tart get into this container? Was it placed there by hand? Was it placed there by God?
Was it conjoined?
No, I don't think they're conjoined. Oh, they kind of were for a second. No, we'll see. Like, I don't know how the second tart got there. Did somebody use their hands? Did they wear a glove? Like, obviously I can't eat this now. I actually would have had no intention of eating anything that looked like that. That is not attractive to me. Sorry, lemon tart. Damn it. Butter. Cheese portion. Orange juice.
have 4 arms. And not one of them can cut this muffin.
Alright, so there you have it. That is pretty much why I didn't release my video on Monday and what's been going on for the last week. And if you watched this video, like up until this point even, thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you who watches. Also, thank you very much to people who wrote to me on Instagram. Like I was so touched by your words, because I did post a story where I said, you know, I won't be able to post a video this week because I've been admitted to hospital, and so many people just took the time to write like a little, like a very considerate, you know, thought or message to me, and I really appreciated that. So thank you very much to those of you who did that. There is not much else to be said, except that my very delicious recipe for urad dal will come out on Monday, as originally it was supposed to, but it is going to come out on Monday, and it's a great recipe. So hit the subscribe button so you get notified when it comes out, and that way you also never miss a video from me. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week with another recipe. Okay, bye bye.